All right, let's go ahead and open. All right, I'm gonna skip some of that stuff that I did before, and let's just see if I can get this to work. Let's go to transpose master, Z plugin, transpose master, ZSphere rig. I'm going to just be absolutely safe. I'm going to go back to my other tool here where I only had the ZSpheres. I'm gonna hit store team rig. I'm gonna go back to my model here. And then let's try this again. Okay, there we go. Alright, so this is what I'm expecting. I should have the horse mesh here. You'll see that it took it down to the lowest subdivision level here. And then it has a ZSphere. So all I do is I click on this ZSphere, and then I go to Z plugin, and then I hit paste TM rig. And then, here we go. I could just try and bind this right now and see what happens, but I should probably paste this. But just to show you how this is a very fluid process, that you're not locked into doing things right the first time around. I'll go down to the rigging option again here, and then because there's already a mesh in this file or in this tool, we'll hit bind mesh. And now when I rotate, the mesh moves around as well. So remember that the way ZBrush handles rotations is also very awkward, where if you click on the ball, which is the ZSphere, you can only twist it, but if you click on the bone, then you can do the actual rotation of everything else. So it's awkward. I don't enjoy how it does that, but that's just how it works. I'm going to turn off the bind mesh, but this is to show, just to demonstrate, I can kind of break this completely. If I turn off bind mesh, it'll kick it back to its original point, and then I'm free to move my ZSpheres as I see fit. Maybe I'll turn on draw mode with Q. I'll add another ZSphere here. I can scale these. I can scale these to kind of fit within the confines of the body a little bit more. I'm going to move it around. So I'll try and do this fairly rough here. It's back out. I'm going to turn on symmetry to make sure I do everything correctly. And we'll just kind of place this, I'll scale this down, move it slightly, just so I have more room here. And let's say that's good. And then you don't even have to be exact with this, because I could technically just leave this here. And when I rotate these Z-spheres, it will still rotate, but just for the sake of being accurate, I will move that here. Okay. So now I can go ahead and hit bind mesh, and I can move it again. I can scale it if I want to scale it. You can move it if you really want to break your. If you want to go stylized, you can do it in the rig here. Here we go. There we go. There we go.
No. That's not my horse.
That's a professional. I should have been an animator, obviously. Yeah. There we go. So there are some weird things about ZBrush. So let's turn on the floor. The root joint is where I started this rig, which is in the center of the chest, which I don't think I should have done it that way, but too late, whatever. So you notice that if I move the root joint, it doesn't, conventionally speaking, like in Maya, if you move the root joint, all the children should follow at the same time, but it's not doing that, so I have to hit the Control. You hold down Control and click and drag the the root joint, it'll actually translate everything here. Or you can also do weird.
Get some yoga in there.
There you go.
Flexible.
Alright. So, was that
Is there a way to preview what the mesh will look like?
A? Adapt the skin. It's back to this preview button right here. Because it's a Z-sphere. It's going to look at your original too. I can also turn on that density and then turn that Dynamesh off, and then what I get is my base mesh. Right, so if I turn off A again and I do that, what did I do? There we go. Right. Hit A, and I get this wonderful deformation here. So you probably shouldn't do it like that, right? Well, if you want to, I won't stop you. Let's turn that off. So there are a few things about Z-spheres though. Again, like, I don't enjoy how ZBrush has changed, like having to click on the bone versus the actual Z-sphere to twist versus rotate is kind of awkward. But then, so the root joint causes a lot of problems, right? So I'll show you what exactly I'm talking about. Let's say I turn off symmetry because I want to add a twist to this. And I twist from, so I'm trying to twist the body here, right? So in perspective, I'm just moving it to the side. But if you look at it, it twists the entire geometry around like that. So this is really frustrating, and the only workaround I know to fix that is if I go back down to rigging, right? Let's redo that, right? Let's uncheck the bind mesh here, so it resets everything. I need to add another Z-sphere here, or maybe even closer. So now if I go back to bind mesh and then I rotate this, I don't get that same effect, right? But if I move it one joint up, I get that twisting effect. So you need to add some dummy joints to offset this twisting. I've looked into it. I don't know why it does it that way, but if you run into that, that's your solution right there. For another thing is, what can I do here? Let's rotate that. So sometimes when I get parts of my mesh that are collapsing like this, like say the traps area, I'll turn this off again. Let's go to draw mode. I'll add some more Z-spheres here. I'll move this up. So let's turn on symmetry. I'll move this around and let's place it kind of in that general area here. So now when I bind this and I rotate from here, I preserve that deformation area better. And if I need to offset it, then I can also move this around to help, right? Sometimes what I've done in the past too is like instead of doing it where I have a lot of volume everywhere, let's scale this down, and I'll scale this down. I've actually drawn out a kind of rough rib cage too at the same time. So maybe I'll do something like this here, and then this will help preserve that stomach area. But I don't think I need to do it in this area, in this case, because the forms are already working for me, and I think I'll just keep it simple and leave it to where it was. But on a human, you might have to do that. You might have to add like a rib cage, something on the obliques, so that the obliques don't like twist or collapse on themselves. And since we all like this animation so much, it's there we go. Let's do this. Let's do this. Hey, let's turn off symmetry. Symmetry and. I need to apply to Disney now. And
Yeah, of course.
I can, there we go. Yeah. All right.
He's a dog now.
Let's break it some more and. This is what happens when you demo. You just do weird things. There you go. All right. So let's say. This is our model, right? This is
Looks just like mine.
I feel like I should say at this point, don't do what I'm doing. Like I would want you to spend time and not go over comedic results, but do as I say, not as I do, right? So now I'm done. This is awesome. I'm super proud of my work.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Wait,
Thank you.
where's his pencil
Can you say
for
that
his
again?
feet?
We'll make it in max. All right. So now when I'm done, right? So all I gotta do is hit the T pose to sub T. So that's transpose and turns it to subtools, and then we get our. So the four legs kind of worked out okay. The hind legs, I mean, we need some sculpting, but it does deform surprisingly well without a whole lot of effort or a whole lot of work. So that is the plus side. Do keep in mind though, when you are posing, if you really want to do a good job, there's always going to be sculpting after the fact, because you're going to have to fix some things. You're going to have to add some overlaps to sell the fact that this leg is raising. So I'd have to resculpt a bunch of this stuff here.
And the muscles will be working differently.
Yeah. So you'd have to play with that. So that's why you shouldn't go too crazy in your base sculpts unless you just really want to study. But since we're taking it to the pose, you want to fix a lot of this stuff as well. If I had turned on that layers option, I would get a layer here, so I could go back to my original and not have a permanent baked down version of my awesome pose here. And then let's see, I guess that's the quickest way. I mean, there are a lot of ways I could do this manually too, but I think that's going to complicate the process, so I won't cover that. If you run into an issue though, because this, as you noticed in the first run, it wasn't working with me, do let me know, and then we'll work it out over the weekend. I don't want you to run into a problem and then get stuck with this and turn it in, unless you really want to do this, then yeah. So this end this video, and then I'll talk about the other way of rigging and posing as well.